see that it is a case of unpivoting, the first thing you do, right? Because unpivoting works with column values, not row values. Unpivoting works with, I repeat myself, column values, not row values. So you see, there is nothing here on the column, but what we want to unpivot is on the first row. So what does that mean? We have to promote our first row. Another word for promoting first row is saying use your first row as what? Headers. As I promote the header, you see that I only have what? Only one that is in the word, in the header values. And the idea of unpivoting works with what? Header values. So I cannot have one here and have the rest here. You have to find a way to push all of them to be in the header values before you can unpivot. That is the idea. So in such case, what do we do? The next thing we want to try now is for the unpivot features. Let's look at it. I think I'm gonna bring in a new data. By the way, I think I have done this, but I did this for Power Query that is attached to Excel. But I will do it again for the purpose of this series so that everything will be contained. But if you want to also have a full-fledged view of what we're about to do, there is a link up that you can go and look at what we did with 2 anchor and 1 anchor for Power Query that is attached to Excel. But we'll do like a sneak peek of it, so we don't waste too much time on this particular series. Let me go and add a new data. There it's here. Where did I have that? I think we have it on the Excel. If I'm correct, yes, practice file for data cleaning. Yes, that's correct. That's where I know we have it. I'm gonna bring in. Hang on a minute. I'm gonna bring in this. About that too. So I'll bring 2 cases. The one we use for 1 anchor column and the one we use for 2 anchor column. Yes. Let me bring the second one so that I will show you guys everything at once. Yes. Don't be scared. This is what we call proper data transformation. Not the one we were seeing before. This is where it begins to get dirtier. There's number 3, which is just to show you guys how to handle somethings. And at the top, I think that 3 and correct. Yes, that's 2 anchor columns. Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna rename it. Of course, by the time I'm done with this, it will be removed because we are in transform data. So I'll call this 1 anchor transformed. And second one is 2 anchor transform. Yeah. I should call this column. So you don't forget what is 2 anchor column and 1 anchor column. Yeah, just double click that. Of course, you know that's another way too. Okay, good. All right. So this is just to add to what we're doing. Now, on one anchor column, this is what we call one. Why I call it one anchor column is originally from the way it is, you already have an anchor column means you already have a column that is already the way you want it. This which is this particular column. It is in the way we want it, right? If you watch here, two anchor column, only two that is in the way we want them, which is this column and this column. Other ones will need transformation. Now, like I said, don't get scared. Now, these are kind of things you begin to see when you deal with maybe different, maybe like a sales team, or maybe like a business that deals on things like pivot table on Excel or stuff like that, or maybe they have a particular way that they report their data on Excel, and then you have to transform this Excel into Power Query, into Power Query and then Power BI. How do you begin to transform the data in a way that you can even understand them? Because looking at this, to them, it makes a whole lot of sense in Excel format, but you bringing it into Power Query for further transformation, how are you going to deal with this, right? So if you look at this, there's actually nothing wrong with this data in terms of the structure. It's just that it is not in the structure that you would want it, right? So in other words, if you look at this looks like a case where the segment and the sheet mode, their values are upside down. So you rather want the segment to be here and the sheet mode to be here rather than segment and sheet mode being up while you have the other ID like this. So so as we go forward, you understand what is it that I want us to do here. Now, first and first, which is very, very important, is for you to know the first step. You see things like um, this automatic step for changed type. I don't want it. So I'm just gonna delete it so I can do my change type when I want it. So first thing I want to do for this to begin to make sense to me is to transpose it. Now, in this lesson, you look at a lot of things. First thing we do is to transpose, right? So under the transpose, if you look at this, look at what we have here. Yeah, under the transpose, we transpose. So I can transpose this table. Transpose meaning turning it upside down, turning it the other way around. That is what transpose means. So now that we've transposed it, it's beginning to look like how we want it. It's beginning to look like how we want it, which is I can see my segment is here and my sheet mode is here. But one will then ask, how do we then turn this particular one for them to be like these ones? Because either way you do it, either that your other ID is here and these two are on the horizontal side of things. So how do you make this? This is where unpivoting and pivoting comes in. But there are rules that apply to these things. What are those rules? You see that the first thing we did was to transpose. Transpose was for us to get these other columns back into the vertical alignment the way we can see them. Only the other ID that you can see on the horizontal arrangement. Now, another thing I want you to say is that is how you know when to unpivot. You see that for other ID, for every other ID, there is a cell that is attached to it. So it's more like a matrix something, right? So here the segment is home office, the ship mode is standard class, right? So for each of the segment and shift mode, it has an order ID for each of it. But this time instead of being vertically arranged like this, it is now horizontally arranged in the sense that one, you can see that each other ID has a particular sales on it. Each other ID has a particular sale. Each other ID has a particular sale, right? So that's the only way you know that, okay, this is a case of what? Unpivoting. Now, when you see that it is a case of unpivoting, the first thing you do, right, because unpivoting works with column values, not row values. Unpivoting works with, I repeat myself, column values, not row values. So you see, there is nothing here on the column, but what we want to unpivot is on the first row. So what does that mean is we have to promote our first row. Another one for promoting first row is saying use your first row as what? Headers. That's what we call it. But in apply step, you see it as what? Promoted what? Headers. That's what you see in what? In so that's what you see. So here I'll just promote the headers. See the button here. Use first row as what? Headers, meaning this row will become the header. So I'm gonna click on it. Now, if you look at this, now we now have the proper column names that we want, where the segment is here and sheet mode is here. However, the other ID are now on the what? Columns. Only when they are on the columns and their corresponding sales value are on the row level. That's when you can download unpivot it. And in unpivoting it is as simple as that. The only thing we want to unpivot is for each of the other ID are what and their corresponding what sales value. So in that case, we have to mark the remaining column that we don't want to unpivot. So if I select these two, I can then say I can come to the is it add column? Yeah, here, yeah, still under the transform. So I can come to the unpivot columns here and say, because I've selected these two, I want to unpivot the rest. So I will say unpivot other column. Unpivot other column. So that's what I will do. So I do unpivot other column. Yes, as simple as that. So you see that those columns that we align on as headers for each of those columns is now being what transformed into attribute and what their corresponding value, which was what sales. So every other thing is just to maybe clean it up. I mean, we've done the major thing as far as I'm concerned, which is to make all of them look like this. So all we need is just to come here and clean this up and yeah, hit enter. Come here, let's clean this up, enter. Then we'll call this other ID. Because we lost the names when we were planning the column. So we're renaming them back to where they are. And then complete sales to what well, put it in a proper decimal number. And yeah, in such case, we do. Now there is also something. So these are also one of the things. When I thought it was basically for data cleaning. So we might as well apply the same things here. Now you've done but at the same time, you begin to see that there are some inconsistencies in the data. What are those inconsistencies? Maybe from the Excel that this was gotten, we are adding grand total, and you don't need the grand totals because you can get that aggregate yourself. So you don't need it to be in the data. You just want the pure values of the data. In such case, we then want to remove wherever we see grand total, I can type grand total. For instance, the grand total. Let me show you guys something. I'm gonna search. I want to deselect first. I want to deselect here. Yeah, so that I can show you guys what I mean. Now, if I select grand total, You see, there is an other ID is not supposed to have things like ground total or stuff like that. So you see that this is already an inconsistency. So I need to remove all the rows that have ground total in this what other ID. So I'm going back again. Why I filtered that is just to show you the inconsistencies in that data, right? So come back here, then come here, ground total, set it again. Oh, sorry. Yeah, and then remove it by what? Selecting it out. Once I remove it, that's it. The funnel here is already telling you that you've excluded all the rows under the ID that has your ground data. Now you see that you have a pure what data. You can see the consistencies that everything here is what other ID. These are also all the things that come with it. Now in the double anchor, in the two anchor columns is basically the same thing we did here, but like just an extra something to be aware of when dealing with what more than one anchor column. Let's see it that way. So because whatever we apply in two anchor column can be applied in three anchor column or four anchor column or whatever. Now the same structure, you see, we already have what the two anchor columns that we need. They're already in the state that we want them, right? So all we need is now to find ways to bring these ones to be like these ones. It's as simple as that. So first thing we do is what there is see it more like you see like a strategy, right? Um because remember in the first anchor column, before we unpivot, we first of all transpose so that we can what? We can get look at what we did here. When we let me take us back. So you can just have a refreshment of what is it that we did before the transpose. Yes. Yeah, so here, remember, I think it was like this before. Yes, it was like this before then we transpose to this, right? So it was like this. Now, when it was like this, one anchor column, because it is just one anchor, we knew that when we transpose, that we are only just gonna have just one like this, right? So let me take you to two. I just want to show the difference. But here, if I just transpose, I'm just gonna do exactly what I did with one anchor column. If I apply it in two anchor column, it's not gonna work for you. So watch me. So first thing we did was to transpose, right? Now, this is where it becomes tricky. If I transpose, I am seeing two possible column values. Now, the idea is you cannot have, because when we promote the headers, if I promote the header, let me also take the next step. Excuse me. If I promote the header, you see that I only have what? Only one that is in the what? In the header values. And the idea of unpivoting works with what? Header values. So I cannot have one here and have the rest here. You have to find a way to push all of them to be in the header values before you can what? You can unpivot. That is the idea. So in such case, what do we do? Let me go back to our step. Just gonna delete. There is a first comment. Let me just show you guys. So if I want to delete from here down, instead of clicking all of them one by one, because it might be in a case where you already have like how many steps and you want to delete from a particular step down, just come here, right click on that X, you see delete until end. Yeah, yes, that's what I'm gonna do. Delete until end. Exactly. So I've deleted until the end, right? Good. So here, let's now apply that strategy. The strategy is what? We'll merge the columns here together before we transpose. So in such case, even if it is a three anchor column or four anchor column, we have to merge all of them so that they can act as what? As one when you are transposing them. That doesn't mean that's the way they're gonna be, no, because we will still have to split them back after transposition and unpivoting. It's just a strategy. We still split them back, but because we want them to act as one, as an entity when we are pushing them up into the header value, we have to merge them before we transpose them. This is what I mean. I'm gonna merge these two, right? Is on my right click, merge columns. Now, just you see that if I use hyphen, there is already hyphen here, and there is already a stroke here. So you might want to use a separator that is not already in what you are merging. That's just something I need to bring to our notice. Something like maybe a space, because there is no space here, or maybe semicolon, because there is no semicolon in any part of the things that you are merging. Why you need to be careful of the separator is because if you use a separator that is already existing, that will scatter your data when you are splitting them back. Just to put that in mind. Because there is no semicolon anywhere, that's why I'm using a semicolon. So I'm gonna merge them. I've merged them. Now, this is what I mean by acting as what. Now you can see that this column is now acting as one. So if I now come here and transpose, if I transpose, you see what we had before, the order ID and the date are now together as one, so that when we promote them as headers, all of them will be in what? In the header value. All of them will be in the header value against their corresponding word sales values, against their corresponding word sales values. Remember, the header values are what? Your kind of like your categorical values as against your aggregated word values. Because the values you see here, the values that are left here are aggregated word values. You need to be aware of that. That's one thing about pivoting and pivoting. It aggregates these values according to the word, according to the values of what on the headers. Now, what's the next thing we will do is to now to unpivot because it's not acting as one entity. So it's just like from here now, it looks similar from what we're doing with the one and column, which is what? To now unpivot. First of all, remember to select your two holding what columns so that you can what unpivot others. So you come here and what unpivot other column. Now you see the sense behind this. You see, now that we have unpivoted it, we can then what now separate the attributes, right? We can also split the same way you merge the column, you can also what, split the column by a delimiter so that they can be what separate. Now it asks me what now it is asking me, do I want to use hyphen as my separator? No, because that's not hyphen will begin to will scatter the other ID. So I'm gonna use the same word delimiter that I used when I was merging them. That's when you split them correctly. And that is why you should choose a delimiter that is not already existing on the data itself. So I'm gonna click OK. Now you see it splits them back again correctly the way they are. So in such case, now you see that you have your shift node here, your segment here, your order ID, your order date, and then your sales what value. Every other thing is just to rename the table, put it in order, make it look cleaner. That, but we've done the major thing as far as I'm concerned, just for us to now just clean up the desk and move forward. So here is the order ID. Here is order dates. And here is sales value. Yeah. So which we can put into decimal. Right? Just also do some sort of data cleaning, check if we have a grand total somewhere, just like we saw in the other one. So there's no grand total anywhere. Check if there are no's. Just do your due diligence before you close up the work. Yeah, so that's all about one anchor calling transformation and two anchor calling transformation for what? Pivot of columns. So pivoting and unpivoting. That is the idea. Another example of this is cases where you see data where the months, instead of being vertically arranged, like sales from a business where the months are on the header. So where you see April to tell you, May to tell you the sales, June to tell. So in such case, you first of all transpose it so you can align it vertically, and then see how you can then what pivot whatever that is next. I hope this um goes well with us in terms of achieving how to pivot columns. See you guys next time.